Well, interestingly, I have a particular photograph in my portfolio of, it represents 5 different career elements that I had, including
Yeah.
being a futurist, a professional speaker, previously a social media expert, working with associations as an association executive and coaching. And it's all represented by this one particular photograph, but none of those careers could I have studied or learned about in school, in university. You can now. There are now some degrees and things that qualifications you can get, but when I was younger, that wasn't available.
Yeah.
So this is an evolving field. But I was a professional speaker. I was working in the speaking space. I was teaching people about social media at the time. But I thought if I had to talk about Twitter one more time, I was going to go crazy. And I wanted something more meaningful. And I went to a career guidance counselor, and she was helping my daughter discover what she should study after school. And so I went to her as well, and she helped me unpack what my interests were. And then she said, there is a field called futures thinking. And the minute I discovered it, I felt like I'd come home. I've always loved science fiction. I've always loved scenarios about the future. My really early career was in financial services, and I was working as a portfolio manager for a retirement annuity. So I always had this projection of how do things work out later? How do we prepare? Or what mistakes are we going to make now that will have a huge impact in the future? And so this all made sense. So I had to go back to school to now study and learn. And I've done some courses and joined the Association of Professional Futurists as a student member, and had to qualify as a professional member. And it just really is a fascinating field. There are so many different approaches, so many really interesting people, and such incredible work being done, not just to project how to make a profit or how to do something, but what would the long-term consequences be of a policy like this, or decisions like that, or one government over another government, or how we actually live our lives. And all of that kind of plays out. And it really is a fascinating field.
Yeah. I'm sure, because future is always, there's one thing sure about the future. It is going to change. It is not going to be as of today, because when we look at the past also, it always changes, right? So growing up, what were you interested in?
Growing up, science fiction.
Yeah.
And not all futures thinking is about science fiction, but I found it to really be a great way to kind of explain a lot of those ideas. I love science fiction. I loved reading. I loved stories about kind of different perspectives from what I had. And I grew up in Cape Town in South Africa. Well, in various kind of provinces in South Africa. We moved around quite a bit. But I had I knew that I had a very small view of the world. And it was only when I grew up much later in my life that I had the opportunity to travel like we're doing now. And that has opened up a whole lot of ideas. So kind of growing up, I had this curiosity about what was out there and what was going to happen in the future. And it's taken me a while to be able to kind of not find the answers, but sort of have the conversations with people where I can start to explore that. And that just grew out from a curiosity as a young person.